What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we have the first unofficial depth chart for the Indianapolis Colts for week one. Wanted to break this down a little bit for you. Not a ton of surprises in this, to say the least, but there is a couple things that we did want to mention. So it's worth taking a note. But just wanted to say before we even started, going into the depth chart specifically, Philip Lindsay was signed to the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. So he is back on the roster, at least with the team specifically. So that's great to hear. You know, how long it'll take before somebody comes in and tries to swoop him. I mean, it probably is likely because Philip Lindsay is a very qualified running back. But if something were to happen on the case of running back getting hurt, then Philip Lindsay is able to step in that role. So Philip Lindsay is back with the team, at least for the time being. All right, so overall, nothing crazy when it comes to the offense in general. You know, quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, Nick Foles, Sam Ehlinger. Typical the way we thought about it, right? Running backs, again, Jonathan Taylor, Hines, and Deion Jackson. We knew Deion Jackson was going to make it when we saw that Philip Lindsay ended up getting cut along with the others. Receivers, you have Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell in the slot. Alec Pierce is the other outside edge. The backup to Michael Pittman is Ashton Doolin. And then Michael Strawn and Desmond Patman are the guys on the depth chart for the other outside receiver spot. Left tackle, you have Matt Pryor backed up by Bernard Ryman. Left guard, you have Quinn Nelson. Center, you have Ryan Kelly and Wesley French. Right guard, you have Danny Pinter, Will Fries. And right tackle, you have Braden Smith, Dennis Kelly, and Luke Tenuta. So, again, nothing crazy there. Kind of expected that sort of situation. So, and then tight ends, you have Mo Cox, and then you have Kylan Granson and Jelani Woods. Reich mentioned that Granson was going to be a co-star with Mo Cox. So what that means in terms of his playing time, I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll obviously keep an eye on that as the week goes on. So, but let's get to the defense, because there's a couple things here that you could mention, a couple things that are very interesting. Defensive line-wise, nothing crazy here. Kwity Paye and Yannick Ngakoue on the edges, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart. And then the premier backups for Kwity Paye are Tyquan Lewis and Dio Dangbo. Yannick is followed by Ifeadi Odenigbo and Ben Banogu. And then your two backups for the defensive tackle and nose tackle position are Eric Johnson and Byron Coer. So nothing crazy there when it comes to the defensive tackles and defensive line in general. But here you start getting a little bit of something for the linebackers. Bobby Okereke, the weak side linebacker. Shaquille Leonard was placed as the middle linebacker in the first unofficial depth chart. Now, does that really mean anything? Not really. Again, this is an unofficial depth chart, so you know you have to see how Shaquille Leonard's going to look. But the Colts are anticipating this situation in if Shaquille Leonard is ready to play right off the bat, then that's the position he would be in. But at the end of the day, this is an unofficial one. It's not official for next Sunday against Houston. That's when we will know for certain whether or not Shaquille Leonard is going to be the actual middle linebacker. For Sam linebackers, you have Zaire Franklin and JoJo Doman. So very interesting to say the least for the middle linebacker situation. We'll keep monitoring Shaquille Leonard and see what happens with him there. Cornerbacks, Brandon Faison is above Isaiah Rodgers on the unofficial depth chart. Stephon Gilmore is the number one corner. Kenny is the second. Brandon Faison is the third. Then you have Isaiah Rodgers backing up Stephon Gilmore and Dallas Flowers backing up Brandon Faison. Now, when we say back up, it's not necessarily meaning that Dallas Flowers is going to come in to relieve Brandon Faison all the time. That's not how that works. It's just going to mainly be, you know, you could see a little bit of Dallas Flowers maybe having a little bit of time, but Isaiah Rodgers is going to be the main backup. At least that's what this unofficial depth chart is secluding right here and right now. So I think of it as like the situation where, Isaiah Rodgers, you have that six-man ability, right? Coming straight off the bench for a corner spot, and Isaiah Rodgers is elite. I wish that Isaiah Rodgers would be the starter, as I'm sure most of Colts Nation does, but that's just how it is when it comes to the scheme and how they approach things. But there will be plenty of times where Isaiah Rodgers is going to be on the field. For safeties, Julian Blackman, Rodney Thomas, a free safety. No surprise there. The biggest surprise is Nick Cross is being placed as the starter at the strong safety position with Rodney McLeod being the backup. So we talked about it throughout all the offseason. Was Nick Cross going to be able to do enough to earn a starting safety role? Because you brought Rodney McLeod in, and Rodney McLeod's a very solid player. He's been a veteran. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows how these things work. And you thought that Rodney McLeod's ability to be a veteran on the field would have gave him the advantage. But apparently Nick Cross has done enough in training camp and in the games to warrant his playmaking ability as an athlete to be out there for the strong safety position. So that's the biggest surprise, is Nick Cross is at the moment going to be the starter for the Indianapolis Colts at safety, replacing Kahari Willis, who retired earlier in the offseason. So let me know what you guys think of that situation, because I personally love it. I think it's great that Nick Cross has done what he's done and has been warranted the opportunity to be the starter come week one. I can't wait to see what he does. Specialists, nothing crazy here. Matt Hawk as the punter, Rodrigo Blankenship as the kicker, and then Luke Rhodes as the long snapper. Kick return is going to be Isaiah Rodgers and Ashton Doolin, while punt returner is Naheem Hines once again. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. That is all the information that we have about the unofficial depth chart and everything else that was going on today. So let me know what you guys think of the roster in general. What were some surprises that you had? But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Less than a week from NFL football again. Cannot wait, guys. Let's get to it. And as always, guys, go Colts.